Went without saying that he didn't win any of the money back, and he lost everything. I told him that if he felt so bad about stealing my money in the first place, why would he do it again? That's when my parents came downstairs. My mom tried to de-escalate, but I was past that point. He had taken my house down payment from me and left me in a ton of credit card debt. The chances of me getting a house within the next few years were getting slimmer and slimmer. My parents had nothing to say about his actions. He apologized profusely, but there was no coming back from this. I cut him off for good this time. I told them never to contact me again, and that I was done. In the next few weeks, my updated credit report came back, and my credit score went down over 100 points. The loan I applied for was no longer available to me, and I was forced to get a second job on top of my current 9-to-5. I had a goal in mind, and I was determined to get my house and live the life that I wanted. In the following weeks, my phone rang off the hook. I had calls from my parents and Jim. I ignored them both. If it weren't for them, I wouldn't have had to work these long hours to pay off this debt. The worst part was Jim didn't even offer to help pay it off. He felt that since his stealing my money to make me more money was coming from a nice place in his heart, he didn't have to pay it off. I could never trust him again. I tried time and time again, and just as I thought we were making progress, he goes and steals my money again. I continued working off the debt, and with the second job, it was making it easier to pay off the debt, but harder to keep going. I would come home exhausted from my second job, get 4 hours of sleep, and wake up to get ready for my first job at 6 a.m. This repeated cycle declined my mental health, and just as I got to a semi-comfortable spot in saving money, I quit my second job and cut back on my expenses as best I could. It was October and the decorations were out on people's lawns, and my parents called me for the 4th time that week. I picked up on the 4th call and they were relieved to hear my voice. They told me how much they missed seeing me and talked about when I was a kid Halloween was my favorite holiday. We would cut pumpkins as a family and watch Disney specials. Dad would put up the decorations in the yard, and we'd enjoy ghost-shaped cookies with our hot cocoa. She told me she really wanted to see me since it had been so long, and I told her that the only way I'd see her was if they came over. She agreed. The following week, my mom and dad came over, and we talked to one another without addressing the elephant in the room. After a while, my mom told me that she would love for me to come to Thanksgiving with them since they were hosting it at their house this year. I told her that I didn't want to. She promised that there would be no drama, and that it would just be a family gathering like it always was. I thought about it and wondered if I could see Jim again without wanting to punch his face in. I refused. That was when my dad chimed in and said that he would love for me to come and practically begged me to forgive Jim. My dad never asked for anything more than once, and I knew this was really serious for him. Against my better judgment, I agreed that I would forgive Jim and attend Thanksgiving at their house this year. They jumped up and kissed and hugged me. They assured me that he would never do anything like that again and that I was safe from any of his shenanigans. I wouldn't let Jim off the hook so easily, but I would attend Thanksgiving dinner with the family since it made mom and dad happy. In the weeks that led to Thanksgiving, I felt alone in my family. I saw them on social media going out to eat and posting about their game nights, and felt like I should have been there, but the sting from the past had broken my trust in them. I was still dealing with financial issues and battling with having to choose which bills would get paid that month. My credit was still shot, and I was slowly trying to rebuild the pieces of me that I didn't break. As it got closer to the dinner, I considered changing my mind because I didn't think it would be great for my mental health, so I called my mom. When she got on the phone, she said that she was getting the decorations together and doing some last-minute shopping. She expressed how excited she was that I was going, and told me that she told the entire family that I would be attending. My plan to back out of Thanksgiving dinner was out the window. When Thanksgiving came, I felt very uneasy as I drove to my parents' house. I had no appetite and feared that anything that did go in would immediately come back out. When I got inside, I saw my family sitting at the dinner table, laughing and smiling with each other. My brother acknowledged me as if nothing happened. He ended up enjoying the entire evening like all had been forgiven. He even tried to make cheeky jokes with me. It ticked me off to see him having a good time, knowing that when I left there that I would have to go straight to sleep to prepare for my job the next day, and he was the reason that I couldn't buy the house that I wanted. At the end of the dinner, I decided I couldn't take it anymore. I stood up. My heart was pounding. I look straight at my brother and start laying it all out aloud for the entire family to hear. I told him how he's destroyed me financially, how I've been forced to work multiple jobs just to keep my head above water. I tell him that I didn't trust him anymore, that he'd crossed too many lines, and I'm done pretending everything's okay. Then I turned to my parents, and I was like, "You've been enabling him for years, choosing this fake version of family unity over my actual well-being. How is that fair?" The whole room went silent. You could hear a pin drop. My brother tries to laugh it off, saying it was all in the past, but I cut him off. I told him I was done forgiving him, and he was no longer welcome in my life. I stormed out, thinking I was going to be dealing with the fallout all alone. But over the next few days, my other family members start reaching out to me. They apologized for not having my back sooner, saying they had no idea how bad it was. Some even offered to help me financially, trying to make up for what he did. It was more than what Jim did. I thought I would have been on my own, but turns out not everyone's willing to turn a blind eye to his crap.